Good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Scope and FamHealth. While we all have been listening to conversations about the importance of diet and nutrition for holistic development of the mind and the body, it is also very, very important to know what kind of foods need to be eaten and how they should be consumed, what to pair it with, and how different foods behave in your body. As a company, FamHealth has also been involved deeply in the subject of health. FamHealth is a company that began 3 years back with the aim to provide knowledge and help to people in all aspects of health. We run multiple media platforms: Tata Sky Family Channel, which is our flagship platform, channel number 510, our website famhealth.in, and our social media platforms MyFamHealth at Facebook and YouTube. We also have been working closely with Scope and bringing you top experts in respective fields. Given the increase of diseases like diabetes, high cholesterol, and heart related issues, and the rise of obesity not just in adults but also in children, the theme for National Nutritional Week, organized by the Government of India in 2021, was Feeding Smart Right from the Start. Keeping in line with this theme, we bring to you this extremely knowledgeable and interactive session on nutrition, and our expert to answer all your questions and bust all your myths about food and its absorption today is Dr. Nupur Krishnan, who is the Director, Biologics, Healthcare, and Fit India Ambassador, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports Authority of India. Welcome to the program, ma'am, and thank you so much for sparing time today. Before I open the session to Dr. Nupur, I would like to invite Atul Soptiji, who is a true visionary and a leader, and under whose direction Scope has been bringing for you such diverse webinars for your holistic development. His attention to matters pertaining to physical health and mental health is heartening and exemplary. Atul Soptiji, as you all know, is the Director General of Scope, a leader with a versatile professional experience of nearly 4 decades. Before leading Scope as Director General, Soptiji was CMD BHEL, a Maharatna public enterprise. I would like to invite Mr. Atul Soptiji to come and say a few words.
Thank you, Rishali. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure for me to interact with all of you in Scope's 27th webinar on a very important subject that healthy eating and active living heal. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long, eventful year for the mankind. While mid-year has been challenging, it is relatively some relief is there. To some level of positivity has come, and we feel that normalcy has infusing back, but uncertainty is still looming very large, because just now I was seeing a news item in France, the new variant that is spreading at a lightning speed. Anyway, we hope for the best, everything will be all right in our country at least. But during this turbulent times also, Scope has continued its endeavors and bringing the interactive platforms with the experts in a spectrum of subjects like finance, HR, digital transformation, cybersecurity, ease of doing business, to name a few. But besides these technical and business relevant subjects, we had also given due consideration to the health and well-being. While earlier the impetus was primarily on the specific health subjects like diabetes, hypertension, cancer, etc. But this year onward, we have been giving additional impetus to the overall well-being. And in this regard, we have been organizing a series of webinars. In fact, we have been collaborating with the renowned national and global experts in their fields, and so that they can provide guidance on maintaining good physical and mental health, especially during the testing time. In fact, many of you, the participants of today, would have been part of our webinar journey, which started about 1.5 years back. And the positive and encouraging response which I've received from the participant, in fact, that has motivated Scope, to enhance our benchmarks with every webinar. So it has also been Scope privilege to get the constant support as well as the involvement of the PSC fraternity as well as its senior management. Today also I understand that many senior officials of public sector fraternity, public sector enterprises, they have joined today with their families. And on the panel, we have today Shri Alok Verma ji, who is the Director HR HAL, and he is also on the Scope Executive Board. He is there. Thank you, Alok ji, for sparing your valuable time today. Ladies and gentlemen, the subject is so important that I'm reminded of a quote by a renowned French author and a scholar. He said, "Tell me what you eat, and I'll tell you what you are." So we all realize, in fact, healthy eating plays a key role, in fact, in keeping not only oneself fit or shaping his mental and physical health, but controlling the diseases also. I believe that we can control majority of the diseases just by bringing some changes in our lifestyle and eating healthy diets. While we have been getting a lot of inputs, especially during the pandemic period, in fact, through various platforms, especially the what you call WhatsApp Gyan, all of us have been getting what to eat, what not to eat. But we feel that correctness of information is very, very important, and accuracy of information, because the field is so vast and on the subject, and opinions are so many, unlimited opinions are there. So Scope thought it pertinent to reach out through this platform the correct information about the food and its true relation to the medical well-being. So we are glad that, as Vrishali mentioned, we are once again we are joined with our associates, Messrs. Fam Health, in fact, who have been partner of our journey of being healthy a step ahead. In fact, thanks to Asha Kapoor ji, who is the MD Fam Health, and the Vrishali, who is with us as panelist. And it's really indeed a great fortune for us to have with us Dr. Nupur Krishnan, who has already been introduced, a renowned clinical nutritionist and ambassador of Fit India. And in fact, we look forward for your presentation, eagerly looking forward for your presentation, Dr. Nupur. I'll not like to be there in between your presentation and my talking. And I'm sure that by the end of this session, all of us would be more wiser towards food and understand its true potential in keeping us healthy by eating and cooking right. I'm personally quite excited to listen to your presentation along with my family. And in fact, I know it is like the number of participants who have joined there, they are also watching with their families through our this Zoom platform, as well as various social media. A tremendous unprecedented response we have received for this webinar. So I would request you all to optimize today's opportunity and dispel your genuine concerns. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to Rishali.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sokti, for your wonderful, wonderful, encouraging words. Like we've said before, you've been kind of like a mentor to us, and we really, really respect your opinion and your attention to health in general. Thank you for your kind words. And here I would again like to take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Alok Verma ji, who, as Sokti ji introduced, as he's a director of HR, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. We will hear from him towards the end of the program on what he thought about the show and maybe give us a few words of advice on his own. Before that, we do want to now take the stage to Dr. Nupur Krishnan, who's been waiting, sipping her hot water, which obviously must have some benefits as well. Among all the other food items she's going to share, a small little recap on what her qualifications are. Dr. Nupur Krishnan is a clinical nutritionist with more than 20 years of experience in preventive and clinical nutrition therapies. She's on the panel as an ambassador of Fit India movement under the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports Authority of India campaign, started by Honorable President, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. So without further ado, I am now handing over, and I would like all the participants who are sitting here You have the opportunity to interact on this show by asking your own questions. We request you to please put them in the Q&A box that is right at the bottom of your screen. The questions will all be taken by Dr. Noopur right at the end once she's done her presentation. So I request all of you, please put in your questions in one platform in the Q&A section at the bottom. Dr. Noopur, welcome on the program and all yours now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me share my slides. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Rishali, for such a kind introduction. And it is a great pleasure and honor for me to be on an esteemed platform of Scope and Fame Health. I extend my sincere thank you to Mr. Sobati and Mr. S.A. Khan and the entire team of Scope and Fame Health. So let's get started. So, why do you eat food? Because feeling hungry. So we consume food for three purposes: to fulfill our hunger, to satisfy our taste, to fulfill nutritional requirement of our body. Most of us pay attention to the first two and miss out the third one, which is the actual need. A balanced diet should help you to maintain an ideal body weight, supply adequate nutrient as per age, as per gender, as per height, as per body fat percentage, current health condition, lifestyle, etc. It's look very simple, isn't it? No. Let's see, what are the factors preventing us from eating balanced diet? Knowledge, consumption, supply, digestion, absorption, utilization, storage, and excretion. Knowledge means what should you eat and how much should you eat? That's important. Consumption and supply means if you have knowledge, then only you can consume the right quality and quantity of food. But our choices are mostly influenced by our taste, preference, and convenience, rather than actual need. Digestion absorption means you have consumed right quantity and quality of food, but still you may suffer with nutritional deficiencies. Why? Because the nutrients are not absorbed in your body due to various reasons like digestive disorder or medicine nutritional interference. Utilization, storage means the nutrients are consumed should be stored and utilized properly. For example, carbohydrate, digested and stored in the body. But if you don't spend it, it will convert it as a fat and stored in the body. Similarly, if you don't produce enough insulin, glucose in your body will not be utilized by the cell. So the excess level of blood sugar leads into diabetes. Excretion. It means sometime high level of nutrient will lead into toxicity and other complications. For example, calcium is important for bone and teeth. but the excess level of calcium will deposit in arteries and leading to blockages and heart attack. A balanced diet should look into all these factors. Our body needs. Now, what our body needs? It needs macronutrient, micronutrients. What are the macronutrients? Protein, carbs, fat, and fiber. And micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and enzymes. So ideally, we should supply these requirements through food. That's important for us. So what should we eat and how much should we eat? That is $1 million question. We eat as per our body requirement. That is called in nutritional science, recommended dietary allowances, RDA. This RDA always different from all age group. Suppose, let me explain. For an average adult male, protein requirement is 60 grams per day. Or female के लिए 55 grams per day. Let's take an iron requirement. For male, it is 17 milligram per DL. And for female, 21 milligram per DL. So it just grams and milligrams quantity. But if you unnecessarily increase that quantity, it will create toxicity. So anything in excess or less, both can be dangerous. For example, less calcium in body bones become weak. तो fracture के chances बढ़ जाते हैं. ज़्यादा calcium blockages problem करता है. And bypass and angioplasty we have to face. Even mineral like potassium, if potassium is less in body, can create cramps in legs. Or if high potassium can create cardiac arrhythmia. So if there is a mismatch between what our body needs and what we supply, and it will lead to a health risk like heart attack, diabetes, blood pressure, thyroid, anemia, nutritional deficiencies will definitely happen. Let me show you what kind of form. Let us see chronic diseases. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes. So these chronic diseases are like the arms of an octopus. If one arm catches, the other also will catch later. And who controls these arms? It's the head of the octopus. Similarly, these chronic diseases are controlled by your wrong food habit. So to escape from chronic diseases, we should avoid wrong food habit. Now, let us see source of energy, which comes from macronutrient. So 1 gram of protein and carbohydrate will give you 4 calories. And 1 gram fat, 9 calories. So when we are talking about calories, let me tell you one important fact about tea. Because many people avoid sugar. In tea, normally we say, don't put sugar in my chai or my tea. Meri chai mein shakkar mat dalo. Because it will increase my unnecessary calories and I may become diabetic also. So my dear ladies and gentlemen, 1 teaspoon sugar will give you 20 calories and 0 gram fat. As in slide, you can see buffalo milk tea has 98 calories, 3.2 gram fat. Cow's milk tea, 70 calories, 2.9 gram fat. Skim milk tea, 50 calories, 0.5 gram fat. And tea without milk, whether it is lemon tea, black tea, white tea, or green tea, it has only 20 calories and 0 grams of fat. So in tea, sugar is not a culprit. It's a quality of milk. So next time जब आप चाय पिए तो मेरी ये slide याद कर लीजिएगा. PCF ratio. You can see in slide PCF ratio graph. Normally our body utilize energy first from carbs, then from protein, and finally from fat. That's why the excess fat is difficult to remove. So the PCF ratio should be customized according to person's lean body mass or fat body mass. What is importance of protein? It increases muscle mass, physical activity. It increases metabolism, means keeps you physically active and energetic. Intake should be 15 to 20% of the total calories. In simple terms, multiply your body weight by 0.8 grams of protein for normal person, and for athlete 1.2 to 1.7 grams per day. So these are the protein sources. These are the protein sources as per vegetarian and non-vegetarian. See, nowadays people are taking protein supplement. So what are the ill effects of supplements? Supplements are highly concentrated. So body cannot effectively absorb protein from natural food sources. Excess protein leads to gout, or it can affect kidney function also. Now, let me guide you about carbohydrate. Simple and complex. Simple carbohydrate are easy to break. Hence, release blood sugar rapidly. Whenever the sugar level increases, pancreas needs to work hard to release insulin to offset the excess blood sugar. Now, complex carbohydrates are hard to break due to fiber. So release blood sugar slowly. So there is no excess load on pancreas. You can see in this graph. That's why diabetic patient advised to eat more complex carbohydrate and less or avoid simple carbohydrate. We will discuss this more about diabetes in later slides. Most often people are confused. How do they get fat despite consuming less fat but more carbohydrate? Actually, the excess carbohydrate stored in liver and gets converted into fat. Serotonin. So sufficient quantity of carbohydrate as per your body parameters and lifestyle is very important, because carbohydrate foods allow the amino acid tryptophan to enter the brain, where tryptophan stimulates neurotransmitter serotonin. And this serotonin brain chemical induces a feeling of calmness, self-confidence, sleep, and good mental health. And if you have good mental health, means no depression. When you are getting sound sleep or good mental health, you are already minimizing one important risk factor for heart attack. So carbohydrate is very important. Now, very important slide, macronutrient fat. There is a big misconception among the general population. fat is concluded bad for human body. But the truth is, fat is one of the most important macronutrient and essential for many metabolic activities, such as vitamin A, D, E, K, will get absorbed in the body in presence of sufficient quantity of fat. We call this vitamin as a fat-soluble vitamin. And in simple language, I can tell you, fat control and regulate your appetite also, which means fat stimulate the intestine to release cholecystokinin hormone that suppresses or control the appetite and signal to your body to stop eating. You need to understand the quality of fat and then start consuming as per your body lifestyle. There is one more scientific fact I would like to share. Even the leanest person has about 40 billion fat cells, which pads and protect internal organs. But trouble arises when you have too much wrong kind of consumption. Now, next slide is healthy and unhealthy. You just see, I'll just drink a small sip of water. Here you can differentiate between healthy fat and unhealthy fat, or you can say sinful fats also. Now, let me guide you about processed and trans fat. That is very, very important. This processed fat and trans fat is really scary. It's not natural and definitely increase bad cholesterol and belly fat. Trans fat is a dietary fat which comes out by hydrogenation of fat. Means the liquid oil turns into solid fat. That is called hydrogenation of fat. But it's quite yummy. But worst for your health. Especially increases your triglyceride. You can find this trans fat in all crispy, crunchy food items like chakli, biscuits, naan khatai, chips, crunchy, crispy samosa, matri. That crispy and crunchiness comes from trans fat. And the trans fat directly increases triglyceride, bad cholesterol, and good cholesterol. Edible oil. See, we cannot completely omit oil from our diet because oil contains essential fatty acids, omega-3, omega-6, and omega-9, which require to perform certain vital activities in our body. If we will not take proper amount of oil, our body reflects certain symptoms like drowsiness, tiredness, itchiness, and fat-soluble vitamin A, D, E, K can be insufficient. So oil is very important for us. Now, liquid source of visible fat. 3 teaspoons oil per day per person is important for internal metabolic activities. Now, all of you must be thinking which cooking oil, filtered oil, refined oil. So, let me clear. Filtered oil called in Hindi, kachi ghani ka tel. And this filtered oil are much healthier as they are produced at a lower temperature. So, the nutrients are retained and the fatty acid bond do not become toxic. Why we call in India kachi ghani ka tel? Because it's filtered through strainer to eliminate the solid particle and other impurities from the seeds. Jabki refined oil process is done at much higher temperature. And because of that, oil does not retain any of its natural flavor or taste. Refined oil are treated with chemical to get rid of impurities and odor to give a clear appearance. It looks very nice. देखने में बहुत सुंदर दिखता है, but no nutrition. So while selecting from food industry, you follow a simple rule. Less the processing, more is the nutrition. Now you must be thinking which brand cooking oil. So there are different varieties of oil in the market. I will explain more about in cooking oil slide, but after cholesterol slide, then you can understand and can relate easily. Cholesterol is a mixture of lipid and protein and maximum produced by our liver. Cholesterol help in the growth and development in our children, and it makes and regulates certain hormones like estrogen, testosterone, nerve cell in our body. Key is the right amount of cholesterol and maintain it. By lifestyle and dietary intake, as you can see in slide, there are two types of cholesterol. Good cholesterol, HDL, bad cholesterol, LDL. Why we call it good and bad? Because good cholesterol work as a fat sweeper in our body. It extracts extra fat and cholesterol from artery cells and tissues and drop into the liver for drainage. And why we call it bad cholesterol bad? Because bad cholesterol, if it's below 90 milligram per DL, it's nice. But if it's more than 90 milligram per DL, it start accumulating in arteries and start blocking arteries. So let me guide you what are the sources of that. So first we'll take bad cholesterol sources. You can see in the slide. So these are the plant sources and animal sources of saturated fat. But according to Indian Council Medical Research, ICMR, 7% of the total calories of saturated fat allowed for everyone. अब हमको सेलेक्ट करना है कि हमारी लाइफस्टाइल एंड फिजिकल ब्लड पैरामीटर के अकॉर्डिंग आज हम प्योर घी भी खा लें और चिकन भी खा लें. The saturated fat consumption depends on your current body parameter and the kind of lifestyle you are living. So these are the differentiation of plant source and animal sources of saturated fat. Now, let me guide you unsaturated fat. Selecting right kind of cooking oil. There are different varieties of oil in the market. Let me guide you PUFA and MUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acid and monounsaturated fatty acid. Polyunsaturated fatty acid you will get through grain also. So if you are not selecting from PUFA, it's okay. And second wrong point about PUFA, it has low smoking point. When you heat it will deteriorate fast. And number 3, as per numerous studies, PUFA-based oil decreasing bad cholesterol, that's true, as well as good cholesterol also. Now come to MUFA, MUFA-based oil. MUFA you will get only through seeded oil and dry fruit, that is called nuts. And second and very important point about MUFA and very plus point of MUFA, it's a high smoking point oil. So if you heat oil, it will not deteriorate or rancid at high temperature. It's the biggest plus point for MUFA. In PUFA, due to low smoking point, it's rancid fast. So choice is yours. I'm not promoting here any brand. I'm giving you knowledge. You select now. Read labels and select yourself. It's in layman language. Everything told you. Only one clue again I will give you. Choose MUFA based oil maximum with saturated fat content of 22 to 24%. Now omega-3. So many types of good fat like walnut, sesame, flaxseed, egg. You can see here. So these omega-3, alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, helps improve your vision, make your bones stronger, regularize your blood pressure, prevent aging, will keep you young, regulate your immune system, help in many metabolic activities. Now, let me guide you some myths and fact about cholesterol and cooking oil. Let me debunk. Number one, misleading tags. The healthiest oil, it's mine, or my brand has zero cholesterol. FDA has warned the industry for misleading advertisement. So such kind of advertisement banned by FDA since 2014. Number two, all vegetable oil have zero cholesterol. All vegetable oil means seeded oil, means edible oil, have zero cholesterol. It's universal scientific truth. All the seeded oil and dry fruits, I mean, all the type of nuts has zero cholesterol. So again, it is false. All vegetable oil have cholesterol. It's false. Number three, some oil are saturated fat free. It's again false, because if it's saturated fat, then it will come in the oil category. Otherwise, it will be away from that category. So it's false. Next, some oil are low in calories. No, not at all. Again, false. 1 teaspoon oil, whether it's a sunflower, soya bean, olive oil, mustard oil, sesame oil, canola oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, any oil, have 1 teaspoon, 45 calories. And number 5, mix and blended different oil before cooking. You cannot do this mixing, because mixing always, blending always allowed at refineries, not you. So choose as per your recipes, keep 2 to 3 types and keep rotating. And I told you already, I explained you well how to choose your cooking. Misleading food labels, fat-free, is a calorie-free? No, the calories can come from other sources also. Olive oil, nowadays it's one more fashion about olive oil. It is so expensive oil. Instead of using olive oil, you can have whole olives as a salad for maximum benefit. Why to use such an expensive oil when you are not in the kitchen? Your cooks, your helpers are taking care. So they can do something wrong. So better choose wisely, and you can choose olives properties in whole olives rather than in oil form. It's universal scientific truth that nuts has zero cholesterol, but they have different level of fiber, saturated fat, unsaturated fat. On that basis, we can consume as per our body, physical parameter, blood parameter, and the kind of current medical condition or normal condition. If somebody wants to increase good cholesterol, can concentrate on walnut. If all lipid profile normal, you can have fistful, all type of nut. If you have bad cholesterol on a higher side, so completely avoid peanut and cashew nut. So basically, nuts consumption depend on your current blood parameter and physical parameter. In the bars, you can see the red color is a saturated fat, so you can choose wisely. Micronutrient. Now, macronutrient over carbohydrate, protein, fats. Now, micronutrient. This pandemic has taught us these micronutrients. I'm sure everybody's knowing about all this. So I will not be explaining much because lack of time. So I will be quickly taking important mineral that is called calcium. For maximum absorption, we need macro and micronutrient in right quantity, right time, right combination, right concentration level. Now let me guide you about important mineral calcium, which is always 1.5 to 2% of the body weight. And approximately 99% of calcium exists in bone and teeth. So whenever in future you would like to know about calcium level, do DEXA test rather than calcium blood test. because only 1% calcium circulating in blood. Calcium daily requirement varies as per your age. For till 18 years, it is around 1300 milligram per day. For 18 to 50, it is 1000 milligram per day. And for more than 50 years, like elderly, 1200 milligram per day. If it's deficient, bone loss, fracture, colon cancer, and if it's in excess, it starts creating toxicity, risk of hypercalcemia. It can affect kidney and can clog arteries and can cause constipation also. And now let me tell you a very, very important about calcium absorption. Calcium is best absorbed at the end part of the meal, although iron is best absorbed at the beginning of the meal. That's why during pregnancy, gynec used to give iron tablet before meal and calcium tablets after the meal. So calcium is absorbed in our body at the end part of the meal and is scientifically connected with our ancient culture also. In South India, curd rice is the last part of the meal. In Gujarati, chaach is the last part of the meal. In Punjabi, lassi is the last part of the meal. And in Bengal, mishti dohi is the last part of the meal. And to increase calcium absorption, we can also stimulate calcium binding protein that is called calbidins. And one more crucial point I would like to highlight here for parents. They are normally satisfied when their child drinks a glass of milk and child disagree to eat anything. So most of the parents feel okay. At least he or she had a glass of milk. So always remember, give your child something to eat, either boiled egg or fistful nuts, fistful seeds, some homemade chickpea, some roasted peanuts. You can give instead of peanut butter, laddus, small paratha, then allow them to drink milk because, as I mentioned earlier, calcium is absorbed in the last part of the meal. Never give them empty stomach, curd or milk. Now, let me guide you. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin and we call it sunshine vitamin, which is present in certain food as well as when right quality, pollution-free, and right direction of sun exposed to the skin. It is not only function for calcium absorption, it enhances immunity, uplifts your mood, and if your body is having insufficient vitamin D, you will not be able to reduce your weight if you are working hard to reduce. We all know symptoms very well. And now after this pandemic, we are more aware how vitamin D supports our immune system. In slide, you can see sources of vitamin D: liver, egg, fish, butter, cheese, milk, and curd. Now, very important slide, depletion of vitamin D. It's my favorite slide. Now, let me explain depletion of vitamin D. Do you know vitamin D deficiency could also occur due to packaged foods like fruit juice, carbonated drinks, breakfast cereals, flavored yogurt, salad dressing, soups, sauces, ketchups, nutrition bar, baked product, all are classic example of HFCS marketing. Fructose, as we all know, is a fruit sugar. But here, unfortunately, it is not from the fruit. From where we get most of the fructose in our diet, a large part of fructose in our food enters via HFCS, high fructose corn syrup, which is an alternative to sugar in most packaged foods. This is low cost sweetener, is favorite to food processing industry. See what happened when we consume such packaged food. You can see in flow chart, when we consume high level of fructose, an enzyme called 24-hydroxylase, which is responsible for degrading vitamin D. And this 24-hydroxylase enzyme becomes more active, while another enzyme which helps synthesize vitamin D, 1-alpha-hydroxylase, become less active. As a result of this high level of fructose consumption, the body tends to start breaking down whatever the level of vitamin D you have. In other words, fructose reduces blood level of active vitamin D. So prevention is the solution. Before it's too late, cut down or try to minimize your HFCS intake from ready-made packets. Now, let me ask you, what are the richest source of iron? What comes in your mind? I'm sure green leafy vegetable, beetroot because it's reds in color. Again, watermelon, red in color, pomegranate, red in color, apple, banana, and potato because it's turned brown when you cut. But these are not the sources of good amount of iron for our body. Let me explain. See, green leafy vegetable has iron, no doubt. But due to presence of oxalate and phytate, iron cannot absorb. So here oxalate and phytate act as an enemy nutrient. Now come to beetroot and any red color of fruits and vegetable. Any fruits or vegetable, if red in color, does not mean has rich source of iron. The color of fruits and vegetable because of phytonutrient. In tomato, red color because of lycopene phytonutrient. Same in brinjal, anthocyanin responsible for purple color. So if anything is red in color, does not mean it has good amount of iron. Always remember. You cut apple, banana or potato, it turns brown. So does not mean it has lot of iron. It just when you cut any fruit or vegetable, oxygen is introduced and oxidation or enzymatic reaction started. Now, next question in your mind, then what are the richest source of iron? These are the richest source of iron. Lotus stem, black till, horse gram, kulthi dal, kamalgatta, jaggery, dates, kurmura, poha, kalachi, garlic seed, liver.
No, just check it's working. The link is already there, no?
So these are the items, our richest source of iron. Now, let me explain about friends nutrient and enemy nutrient. As I mentioned, GLV, green leafy vegetable, is not a right source for increasing your iron level. In iron absorption, suppose you are regularly consuming best source of iron, but body is still iron deficient. So in that case, you need to know the right combination, or in nutrition science language, we call it friends nutrient, means nutrient interaction, and enemy nutrient we call nutrient interference. For example, you can see in the slide, iron has interaction with vitamin C, means friends nutrient, and phytate and oxalate as enemy nutrient, means nutrient interference. Now, in this slide, you can see the combination of iron absorption. So next time, do not depend on palak ka soup or sarso ka saag, bathua ki chapati or paratha to raise your hemoglobin. Of course, these vegetables have other benefit, but do not depend for hemoglobin. So you can see poha is an iron rich. If you're pouring with black tin and lemon, it's a vitamin C combination. It's the best combination. Raw mango panna, you are making panna with roasted mango. Why roasted mango? I'll tell you in the next slide. Kulthi soup or with lemon, and you can have steamed kulthi chaat with lemon. So these are the best combination of iron and vitamin C as a friend. But here you can see green leafy vegetable. Some people mix आटे में सोयाबीन और कुछ लोग antacid ज़्यादा खाते हैं. And due to this pandemic, we have increased our unnecessary chronic use of calcium and vitamin E also. And most of the generation drink tea after meal. That is also wrong. So you have to be very careful once you are making some combinations of food. That is important for us. Now, what is bioavailability? Let me brief you about bioavailability. Means our food items may contain high level of nutrients, but its availability for absorption is affected by other component of foods. For example, in palak, you can say spinach, only 5% of calcium can be absorbed due to presence of oxalate. And we thought it's a good, it's a richest source. No, it's not. Now, let me guide you vitamin C richest source. So what are the richest source of vitamin C? The highest amla. And second highest guava, पेरू, अमरूद. एक गुआवा में 4 संतरों के बराबर विटामिन सी होता है. And then raw mango and then citrus fruit, sweet lime, tangerine, mandarin, oranges, pomelo, grapefruit. These are the list for citrus fruit. So choose wisely. Now, let me guide you iodine. Let me ask you, how many of you thought and consciously consider this brain boosting mineral, iodine? The body needs iodine to make thyroid hormone, and this hormone control the body metabolism and many other important functions like brain development, especially during pregnancy and infancy. So when we are talking about iodine, which is connected with thyroid gland, so let me reveal one more important fact about hypothyroid. If somebody is suffering from hypothyroid, try to avoid crucifera vegetables, family vegetables, like cauliflower, cabbage, purple cabbage, Brussels sprout, broccoli. Because these family vegetables, crucifera family vegetables, have goitrogens, which imbalance your thyroid. So next time, you be careful while selecting vegetable if you are suffering from hypothyroid. Now, what are the main dietary source of iodine? Of course, water chestnut, seaweed, sushi, coconut, lotus stem, and the cheapest and the best source and very common and easily available, iodized salt. Always use iodized salt. Limit 5 to 10 grams, means 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt per day. Use only while cooking food and do not on the table. Excess salt intake can increase blood pressure, so consciously we have to use everything. Now, let me guide you hormone regulation. Our body metabolism regulate our body hormones with our lifestyle. For example, ghrelin, it increases appetite. It's called hunger hormone, and leptin give feeling of fullness, so-called satiety harm. But if our lifestyle haywire रहेगा, तो if you're not getting haywire रहेगा मतलब आपको नींद बराबर नहीं आ रही है, नींद पूरी नहीं हो रही है आपकी. This ghrelin hormone will increase, so you keep on eating, and leptin will decrease. You will not get switch off button, means feeling of fullness नहीं आएगा. So आपकी बॉडी को हेल्दी रखने में मैक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट, माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट एंड हार्मोन का रेगुलेशन बहुत जरूरी है. आपकी रियल एज 50 इयर्स है, बट मेटाबॉलिक एज यू लुक 35 and 38 years, and you are getting wonderful sound sleep. So it's called real health. Now let me guide you about acidity. Acidity, I think you all understood by these three words: hurry, worry, curry. It's self-explanatory. Apart from hurry, worry, curry, acidity will aggravate by few more reasons. Lack of sleep. Sprouted potatoes has harmful toxin, which is normally we don't bother and just cut the sprouted portion of potato and rest we try to use. That sprouted potatoes has harmful toxin, which causes acidity. Next is chewing gum. When you chew gum, it gives wrong signal to your stomach, especially stomach juices, that something is coming. So strong juices start secreting. And when they didn't find any substance to work upon, then this condition will be harmful for stomach wall, which can convert as an ulcer or increase false appetite. So next time, if you or your kid try to chew gum, be careful. GRD. People get confused between GRD and acidity. And when they get GRD, try to pop up antacid, which is wrong. Actually, GRD is a burning sensation in the chest. And medically, we call it heartburn or GRD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. The burning sensation is caused due to the acid reflux. When hydrochloric acid, which is very strong acid, you can say juice of stomach, moves up from the stomach to esophagus, food pipe. Most of you associate this with high stomach acidity and immediately try to pop up antacid for quick relief. Although GRD is caused by a dysfunction of muscular valve, we call this LES, lower esophageal sphincter or valve also you can see. This valve or sphincter separate the lower end of the esophagus and stomach opening. And there are few reasons dysfunctioning of this door or opening or valve, I can say. Number one, overweight or obese. Food cooking in low quality cooking oil or reheating of oil also. Normally जब आप street vendor junk food खाते हैं, so they don't bother about the quality of oil. They have to earn money. They must be using low quality and they must be eating n number of times the reheating of oil and cooking the same kind of and frying for the same. So whenever you eat bhajiyas and samosa, be careful. That's what I recommend. If you can cook at home, that's better rather than outside. Consumption of trans fat, also one of the reasons. Sleep deprivation also causes GRD. Smoking and alcohol. And what are the foods which can cure your GRD? Prebiotic food like ginger, onion, garlic, salt, cucumber, coconut, ghee, aloe vera, parsley. Drink sufficient water. So sufficient saliva in your mouth can neutralize the acid in food. So these are important points. Please keep it in mind. Now let me guide you about side effect of drugs. Now there are two situations. Either you can cure your disease by medicine, drugs, or you can cure by pure food. Choice is yours. Here I can explain you what are the problems. See, if you're consuming BP tablet that has tranquilizers, and that tranquilizers side effect, uric acid will become high. So you have to eat now xyluric tablet to reduce your uric acid. Otherwise, you will end up in a gout form. So choice is yours. Now, metformin, the person who's suffering from diabetes and polycystic ovary syndrome, they try to have glyphosate, glycomate, or metformin. You can have, but the side effect will be, it will deplete your hand and leg muscles. You must have seen severe diabetic patient I'm talking about. They have big paunch, but their hand and legs are very thin. It's muscles depleted due to this medicine consumption. No doubt, medicine saves our life. But in certain conditions, we can treat through food. That is my idea. Now, oral contraceptive decreases vitamin B and folate maximum in female. Statin and Lipitor, cholesterol lowering, decreases calcium and vitamin A and E and C. Antacid decreases absorption of iron. Corticosteroid during asthma increases your appetite. So these are the drugs and nutrient side effects. Now, when we have to cure uric acid, either by xyluric tablet or by food, I will guide you about how you can cure through food. You have to select certain foods which can remove your oxalate and phytates. You have to stop for few days. Ragi, nachni, strawberry, almond, all are very healthy. But if you are suffering from uric acid, instead of jumping on protein, which is a Google study, which is a Google knowledge, normally when you type uric acid high hai to kya khana hai, so normally they say low protein. Low protein, आप अपनी body की muscles को और weak कर लोगे. It's not a low protein. It's a good quality protein you have to consume, and जो आपकी body में oxalate दे रहे हैं food, उनको आपको stop करना है. That is ragi, strawberry, and almonds. You have to stop for some time, and you have to cleanse your body through coconut water, pineapple, corn silk water, kulthi water. Have you heard all those things? Corn silk water. So these are the remedies, natural remedies you can easily apply, and you can get cured from uric acid without popping xyluric tablet. So next is right choice of cooking method. Now, choose the right cooking technique. It looks very simple, but I'm 100% sure most of you are not aware. But nothing new. We have been watching our dadis, nani doing this since ages. Soaking legumes, beans overnight in salt water. Now we know the scientific basis for that. I'm sure you must have complained about bloating, indigestion, flatulence after eating legumes and beans. So basically these beans and legumes have a carbohydrate, starches, and raffinose. These are not digested in small intestine by human gastrointestinal enzyme. They are passed into large intestine where they are fermented by intestinal microflora with the production of gas. So this behavior, which is responsible for flatulence, bloating, and indigestion, that many of you experience after consuming these beans. So first of all, beans should be soaked in water for at least 5 to 6 hours. Overnight, you can soak. So the best soak overnight, pour away the water, prepare for breakfast or lunch so it can digest easily throughout the day. Boil in fresh water with salt and ghee, which improves water absorption, and beans are evenly softened and cooked. And now bloating, flatulence complaint will not react. Common mistake. Due to hurry, people try to include tomatoes, lemon, some spices while boiling, which prevents beans from absorbing water effectively. And that is why resulting uneven or partial cooking, which is retaining anti-nutrient. So while boiling such beans or legumes, do not add any tomatoes or puree or any other item. The second example of cooking technique, tomato. Tomato has powerful antioxidant, lycopene. But this powerful antioxidant gets absorbed in human intestine in cooked form. If you make tomato soup, sabji, curry, pouring in dal, it will be useful. But if you are eating raw, like in salad, raw tomato, then lycopene will go waste. Now let me tell you one ancient fact about egg. You must have observed, especially 80s, 90s ke bodybuilder Pehlwan, they are used to drink raw egg, though they have very good muscular body, because those days we were not having any whey protein supplement kind of thing. But on scalp, they don't have proper hair. Now let me tell you science behind this raw egg. Raw egg contain avidin protein, and this avidin protein binds biotin, that is B vitamin, which helps to keep your hair shiny and luscious. But avidin prevent biotin absorption when we eat raw. When we cook egg, chemical bonding of avidin fails to bind or denature biotin and cannot interfere in biotin absorption. So in future, whenever you are eating egg, try to cook. And one more very practical tip, whenever you are eating egg in restaurant or hotel, try to choose poached or boiled egg cooking technique rather than tell them, give me poached egg, give me boiled egg, rather than scrambled or omelette. Because you don't know which type of fat, butter, margarine, cooking oil they are using. Now, last example of cooking technique. We all aware about potato and sweet potato. First of all, let me tell you, sweet potato is only name of this healthy tuber. And even diabetic patient can consume because of good glycemic load, high fiber, antioxidant, beta carotene, which support good vision, good immune system, and it protect your body from free radical damage and promote a healthy gut. And especially for athlete or growing children, roasted or baked cooking it's very healthy. Now, if you boil potato and sweet potato, the chemical structure alter from good to bad. So whenever you consume potato and sweet potato, try to roast or bake instead of boiling it. Next slide. Yeah, this is true. We have to focus on home ration, perishable, non-perishable food item, preparation, portion, and combination. Corrections start from your kitchen. That's true. In this slide, you can see ghee, butter, coconut. Yes, you can use pure ghee, but you know really it is a pure ghee. If you purchase from outside, ideally pure ghee should be liquid and transparent at room temperature. Pure ghee you can apply on chapatis, paratha, can pour in dal and khichdi. Same for butter. You can apply on toast, you can apply on pav. But if you cook this fat, that heating will change their chemical structure from good fat to bad fat. Wrong cooking method alter the food structure. So do not spoil food chemistry, otherwise it will spoil your life biochemistry. In fact, coconut has medium chain triglyceride, MCT, which is very healthy for growing kids. So use coconut always in food, but do not overheat it. Same if you are non-vegetarian, try to have non-veg, no problem. But try to be grilled, baked, or roasted form. That will be healthy for you. Keep check on your dal, rice, or perishable, non-perishable food item coming in your house. Mostly fresh or raw rather than polished. The more it's raw, the glycemic index and pure form and naturally will be healthy for you. While online shopping, these vegetable grater and something looks very stylish and convenient, but after cutting, if you are washing your vegetable, that's called leaching process. And that leaching process we have to use for kidney patients. We cannot give them more electrolyte. So this, after cutting, if you're washing your vegetable, that is called leaching process. For the normal people like you and me, we cannot do. We have to wash our vegetable before cutting, before slicing. And next, try to pour your preparation best quality ghee to reduce bloating and flatulence. So अगर आप अपने घर का राशन क्या आ रहा है, किस क्वालिटी का आ रहा है, कैसे उसको स्टोर किया, कैसे प्रिपेयर किया, किस कॉम्बिनेशन में खाया है, ये सब होमवर्क अगर आपने करा है, so you already won half of the battle. Now, let me tell you about these myths. Organic food. This word nowadays is very fascinating when we are talking about quality of food. What is organic food? Organic food means naturally grown and naturally supplied to the consumer, which means from farming till your kitchen, there should be no use of chemical fertilizer and pesticide. And truly speaking, organic farming means there should be no chemical use in the soil for 3 years. As we all aware about our environment, not all the organic farms comply with this condition. And another way, there is no guarantee. Organically grown food items still organic when it reaches to your kitchen. Because even if they are organically grown, they may be packed with preservatives to increase the shelf life of the food item. The choice is yours. Apple cider vinegar. This question also very common. Nowadays, one more fashion of drinking apple cider vinegar. Ideally, it is not advisable just like that. Try not to drink concentrated form. You must dilute 1 part of vinegar with 10 parts of plain water. And most important, while drinking, it should not touch your tooth enamel. Otherwise, this can lead to tooth sensitivity and will increase chances for tooth decay and cavities. If you are on a medication, especially medical condition like kidney disorder or person suffering from low potassium, should not even drink once. And even for the normal person, discuss with your expert with medical history before starting any kind of supplement or especially vinegar supplement. Next is drinking too much water is healthy. Again, water consumption depends on your activity level. If you are a hard worker like a laborer, mazdoor, so you need to drink every day 4 to 5 liters due to sweat. And if you are a moderate worker like a salesman, your consumption will be lesser than the Mazdoor, like 2.5 to 3 liter. And if you are a sedentary worker, like a company executive or CEO, your water intake should be 1.5 to 2.5 liter, because you are working in AC, sleeping in AC, and moving in AC. So your water losses will not be from your sweat. Now, if still consuming water more than your capacity, it will lead edema, puffness, and it can load on your kidney also. Now, let me guide you about diabetes. Diabetic cannot consume food. Yes, of course, it's false. You can consume food. It's a fructose sugar. It will not react with your insulin. But there is a way, even for normal people. If you are consuming fruits after your meal, like breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it will increases the glycemic load. So whenever you are consuming fruits, try to before meal. If you are try to take as a dessert, it will be harmful, even for normal people. So be careful whenever you are eating next time fruit, not after the meal. All artificial sweetener can be consumed by diabetic. No, not at all. Try to avoid. These are not good because these are working with cold temperature. They are meant for releasing their chemicals for the cold temperature, not for hot. And chai hum log garam pite hain, so it's not a good idea. It has sucralose, and it's not a good idea. Diabetes cannot eat rice. You can eat rice, but वो राइस आपका बासमती नहीं होना चाहिए, प्रोसेस नहीं होना चाहिए, सुगंधित नहीं होना चाहिए, रिफाइंड नहीं होना चाहिए, सुंदर नहीं होना चाहिए. इट शुड बी फ्रॉम खेत. आपके खेत से आना चाहिए, रॉ आना चाहिए, पारबॉइल्ड आना चाहिए. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट ब्राउन राइस. बासमती को आजकल लोग ब्राउन कलर करके उसको एज ए ब्राउन राइस बेच रहे हैं, हम लोग खा रहे हैं. रॉन्ग. यू कैन हैव राइस. साउथ में तो स्टेपल फूड इज राइस ओनली. नॉर्थ में व्हीट इज ए स्टेपल फूड. तो साउथ, इस तरह से तो साउथ इंडियन सबको डायबिटीज हो जानी चाहिए. So you can have rice, but the rice quality matters. Diabetic should avoid carbohydrate. No, not at all. Yes, simple carbohydrate and complex carbohydrate. You have to be very careful when you are normally eating. Not only for diabetic patient, for normal person also. More should be complex carbohydrate because it has fiber, it has high glycemic load, which will sustain, which will bind your insulin properly. And you can consume your complex carbohydrate easily. There is no problem in that. And I told you, आपको नींद अच्छी आनी चाहिए, carbohydrate ही आपको अच्छी नींद दिलाएगा. So that is important. I explained serotonin level during that slide. Diabetic can consume alcohol. That is partially we can say, because number one, mild diabetes है, moderate diabetes है, severe diabetes. That depends on that, and what kind of medication you are taking, what kind of alcohol you want to consume, wine or alcohol, whiskey, vodka, what. So that depends on your severity. It's important. Bitter tasting food, करेला, नीम will lower. It's not true. सारे vegetable में अच्छे micronutrients हैं, अच्छे fiber हैं, अच्छे phytonutrients हैं. So all the vegetables are healthy for diabetic and non-diabetic patients. So nothing related कि diabetic खा सकते हैं और non-diabetic नहीं खा सकते हैं. So these are the myths I debunked. Now, yesterday was COVID, and today came Omicron, and now tomorrow it might be new unknown virus. No matter, whatever comes, we have to increase our survival chances by staying healthy. So do not forget your basics, which you learned during COVID time. It's a long 2 years time. Strengthen immunity with adequate nutrient. I'm not reading this here. If you want to know more, you can see my YouTube channel, COVID Nutrition Therapy. You will come to know many things about that. Because due to lack of time, I have to bind up fast. So improve oxygen carrying capacity of blood. You have to increase hemoglobin level. So consume high protein and iron rich diet, lentil, horse gram. You can have as a black pill, jaggery, antioxidant, vitamin A, vitamin E. This is all revision. You can take that revision from my YouTube channel. Also, now Today we discuss general concept of human health and nutrition, which may not be sufficient to cover all aspects of health and nutrition in this session, because this topic is like an ocean. But for future, I have many detailed presentation on following topics we can do. Thank you. Obesity, heart attack, diabetes management, blood pressure, mental hunger, cancer, woman journey from puberty to menopause. Thank you. Now I'll open the platform for
Yes,
Q&A.
please, if you can stop sharing, Dr. Nupur. I don't want to even waste time in saying how extremely knowledgeable and interesting your session was.
Thank you.
If you ask me personally, there are so many things and so many new things that I have learned. So I'm sure there must be many people out there who are also sitting. And the fact that your session was great has come back by the fact that there are so many questions that people are pouring in. I'm going to quickly first take some of the questions because we will not have time to attend to those later. So the first question that has come to us, is it advisable to eat dinner by 7 p.m.? How practical is it? If these timelines are not possible, then what can one do?
See, it depends कि आप अपना लाइफस्टाइल किस तरह से रखते हो, आप कितने बजे सोते हो, आप कितने बजे उठते हो, that always matter. So अगर आपका डिनर टाइम 7 PM है तो एटलीस्ट 2 से 2.5 घंटे का टाइम आपको डाइजेशन के लिए रखना है. एंड इफ यू आर वेकिंग स्लीपिंग बाय 10 एंड वेकिंग बाय 6, दैट्स मोर देन एनफ.
Okay, great. So you have to find a pattern for yourself and then stick to that routine, whichever works for you and your lifestyle, what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay. Dr. Nupur, आजकल के ये नए fads हैं. There are lots of new diets that have come. But intermittent diet is definitely one that has been doing the rounds of late, and a lot of people subscribe to it. So if you can give us in a nutshell, what is the relevance, how effective is it, and is it meant for everybody?
See, this intermittent fasting, actually, you are depriving by the food for few hours, जिसमें कि आपका BMR slow हो सकता है. And it is still going on. The research is still going on. It has not been proved so far. Especially, we are having a lot of chronic diseases numbers. So, if somebody is suffering from diabetes or high blood pressure, if they try to consume such kind of pattern, if they try to adopt such kind of pattern, it will not be safe for their life. Because in diabetes, you cannot give long gaps of foods. And even the blood pressure and even kidney patients also. So such kind of thing you can do on your own risk, but medically, scientifically, it has not been proved so far. And we have a lot of chronic diseases. So I will not say yes for this on this platform, for sure.
Okay, so that is nice and loud and clear, the message, not for everybody. We have a live caller. We have Mr. Abbas who's waiting to ask a question. We'd like to take his question live. Mr. Abbas, please ask your question, sir.
Madam, good evening.
Good evening.
Madam, I have multiple questions. Like some people say that we should not eat both curd rice along with fish. Is it true, madam? Or
yeah. बोलिए.
That is what, madam. Is it true that we should not eat curd rice and fish together?
See, what happened? Curd is from milk and milk product, and fish is non-vegetarian side. Now, these are two different components, and they have different enzymes. So, with curd and fish, there is a immunoglobulin which can give you some kind of allergy. So in that case, you can get some kind of white skin patches because of immunoglobulin will get disturbed due to different nature of two groups. So definitely you should not mix milk or curd with any non-veg item, not only fish.
But
I'm now wondering if this kind of a line should be there with all the food items that are sold in the market, so that we can read it and actually then figure out what to eat with what, because otherwise most of us don't know this.
Our Ministry of Youth working on this with us, with the qualified nutritionists, and we'll be definitely coming soon with the right combination of food also.
Fantastic. Mr. Abbas, thank you for your question. I'm sorry we can't ask more of your questions because I have so many others. So another question that came to us, somebody wants to know, is saturated fat better coming from plant sources or animal sources?
Both are important. As I mentioned, 7% of the total calories of saturated fat, as per Indian Council Medical Research, a person can have. Definitely, you can have plant and animal sources. That depends ki what kind of lifestyle, what kind of liking and disliking you have. If you are a non-vegetarian, definitely you would like to have more from the non-veg side. You can have, but don't mix two together. Like आज के दिन आपने प्योर घी दाल में डाल के भी खा लिया और रात में आपने चिकन भी खा लिया या फिश भी खा लिया. So choose one at a time. Saturated fat, that is the permutation combination you have to select as per your current blood parameter, physical parameter, and your lifestyle. It's important.
Okay, Indians, many, and by and large are vegetarians. So there are a couple of questions that are coming from that perspective, Dr. Nupur.
Yeah.
One is how comments on plant-based whole foods. What are they and how do they help?
See, plant-based food, it's fine. You can have, there is no problem. But as I mentioned about the tryptophan, which is that amino acid coming from milk, and carbohydrate will allow the tryptophan to induce the serotonin. That is a neurotransmitter, which will give you feeling of calmness, self-confidence, sound sleep, good mental health. So in that case, you may not get such kind of mental health. And these are the taboos, actually. Let me tell you, Vishali, very sadly, this has happened. People are running here and there. They are doing some fashionable diet. They are impressed by somebody else, or they should look at them, actually. What kind of lifestyle they have, what kind of blood parameter they have, what kind of medical history they have, what kind of genes they have. So that's important for the person to know about themselves and then can select accordingly food items. You cannot go just by somebody is doing plant sources and you can have those plant sources. As I mentioned you, अगर आपकी mental health अच्छी नहीं है, तो सबसे बड़ा alarm आपने अपने body में जगाया है heart attack. जो कि आपने देखा है सच टैलेंटेड एक्टर एक पुनीत साउथ इंडिया में एंड नॉर्थ इंडिया में आपके सिद्धार्थ शुक्ला है. दे आर सो फिट, दे आर सो कॉन्शियस अबाउट देयर डाइट. डू यू थिंक उनके पास कुछ चीज की कमी रही होगी? इन एवरी सेंस they can buy good quality, they can afford good quality, they can eat good quality, but there is a mental peace, there is a sound sleep that always matters. So these kind of things are important for us. It's my humble request to all the participants, just check yourself, just see whatever you want. Don't go as per the somebody said. It's your body. Listen to your body. Whatever you are doing, accepted by your body, your mind, rather than somebody is saying, rather than short-term goal, rather than I have marriage in my family, I have to start slimming down, or I have to do some good thing for myself from New Year. No, today, right now, you can start for yourself. Do something which is practically possible, which you can sustain for a long time, which you can take long time, and it should be way of your life rather than doing for a week, for a month. I would say humbly to all the viewers, please listen to your body and mind and do something which is practically possible, which is accepted by you only, not by imposed. That's why diet fails.
Very nice advice, and I really hope, and we need to keep doing these sessions more and more so that we keep reiterating this kind of thing. It's not easy for people to remember. I just want to tell everybody, because the questions are too many and we have very limited time. So we've put a feedback form in the chat box. All of you who do not get an opportunity to ask your question, please request you to fill the feedback form and send your question through that. And we will request Dr. Nupur to reply the answers in text and send them across back. We'll share it back with you. Dr. Nupur, coming back to the vegetarian diets, lots of people, and you have mentioned this while you were doing your presentation, but I just want you to reiterate, getting your source of protein and vitamin C for vegetarians especially. If you can give us a quick nutshell on what are the kind of foods that you should
protein and what you said?
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C. Vitamin C, so I already explained you, highest source is amla, and then second highest guava. एक पेरू में, एक गुआवा में, एक अमरूद में 4 संतरों के बराबर विटामिन सी होता है. देन रॉ मैंगो का नंबर आता है, एंड द सिट्रस फ्रूट कम्स आफ्टर दैट, फोर्थ नंबर, दैट इज द स्वीट लाइम, ऑरेंजेस, टैंजरीन, मैंडरिन जिसे चकोतरा बोलते हैं, आप माल्टा बोलते हैं, पपनस, grapefruit. These are the vitamin C source for your diet. Now, protein sources are milk and milk product and different type of legumes and pulses and beans. No, mostly लोग beans खाने में उनको तकलीफ होती है, bloating होती है, जो मैंने देखा है अपनी 22 years के experience में. So I would request, as I mentioned, the correct cooking technique. उसमें मैंने बताया आपको सही तरीके से आपने उस beans को cook करना है. अगर आपने वो सही तरीका अपना लिया और आपने अपनी किचन का करेक्शन कर लिया, तो मैंने बताया था हाफ ऑफ द बैटल आपने ऑलरेडी जीत लिया अपनी हेल्थ.
Already. Okay, great. We have a caller online. Mr. Vasu wants to ask a question.
Yeah.
Mr. Vasu, please go ahead with your question, please. Mr. Vasu, can you hear us, sir? Hello? Okay, I don't know if he's still online or he's not been connected properly. We'll wait for that to come. Okay, there's another question. What is your opinion about dairy-free diet, vegan diet? Does that make you deficient in anything?
Definitely, it's आप milk and milk product नहीं ले रहे हो तो vegan diet आपको तकलीफ देगा ही देगा. And as I mentioned, you आपकी mental peace जाएगा. I already explained serotonin, carbohydrate allows tryptophan. So that's important slide I made because of this only.
Okay, Dr. Nupur, what is are almond and soya milk, which is again a very big rage nowadays? Are they really much healthier sources of milk in general?
See, in general, if you're asking almond and soya milk ki jagah, these are again processed. And this is again came from the processing industry. I would not say much, but natural always better than the processed one. As I mentioned in a one line, less the processing, more the nutrients.
Okay. One last question from my end, Dr. Nupur, is, and somebody else also asked, कि बच्चों को क्या खिलाया जाए? कि with children and constant access to a lot of junk food and obesity becoming such a big problem in India, what kind of food groups and how can you, if you can give us tips on how to make it exciting for them?
देखिए, बच्चों का ना जो BMR होता है बहुत हाई होता है कंपैरेटिवली एडल्ट्स, तो बच्चों को बड़ी जल्दी भूख लगती है और वो जंप भी बहुत करते हैं. हम लोग नहीं जंप कर सकते. वी कैन नॉट जंप एंड वी कैन नॉट रन दैट मच कैपेसिटी जितना वो लोग करते हैं. तो पेरेंट्स को चाहिए कि सबसे पहले तो घर में फूड गुड हैबिट्स हो, अच्छा राशन हो घर में. आपके घर में जितने ज्यादा जंक फूड, डिफरेंट जो आपके पैकेट फूड्स आते हैं वो रहेंगे तो वो आपको तकलीफ देंगे, बिकॉज उनके फिजिकल ग्रोथ, मेंटल ग्रोथ के लिए हमको बहुत जरूरी है. ग्रोथ क्या होता है? इट्स मल्टीप्लिकेशन ऑफ द सेल, एंड डेवलपमेंट क्या होता है? इलांगेशन ऑफ द सेल्स. तो ये दोनों चीजें बच्चों में हो रही हैं, जो हमारे में 25 साल के बाद सिर्फ डेवलपमेंट रह जाता है, ग्रोथ नहीं होती है ह्यूमन बॉडी में, इट्स डेवलपमेंट. तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बात क्या है? अपने घर के राशन को, किचन को ध्यान में रखते हुए आप जंक फूड जितना नहीं रखेंगे, जितना बच्चों के सामने नहीं खाएंगे वो मांगेंगे नहीं. एंड सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट, गैप मत होने दीजिए. उनको घर का बना हुआ चिवड़ा दे दीजिए, उनको घर के बने हुए जैगरी के साथ तिल के लड्डू दे दीजिए, उनको पीनट्स की चिक्की दे दीजिए. पीनट बटर खाने की जगह जो मार्केट से आप लाए हो, उस पीनट्स रोस्ट करिए देसी घी में, पीनट हल्के से, और आप उसको आराम से बच्चे को काली मिर्च के साथ मिक्स करके दे दीजिए. यम्मी, इट्स टेस्टी. Kali mirch will give vitamin A also, which is very good for eyesight. So give something which is giving good quality nutrient to your kid. And best part कि वो आपसे मांगे नहीं फूड, जहां वो मांगना शुरू करते हैं वहीं उनकी फॉल्स हंगर शुरू होती है. तो मदर एंड फादर का ये फर्ज है कि घर में कांच के बर्तन में, ट्रांसपेरेंट बर्तन में आप अपने घर का चिवड़ा, घर का रोस्टेड मखाना, घर का रोस्टेड नमकीन आप घर में बना के रख दें, जिससे जब भी उनको भूख लग रही है तो वो बिस्किट, पेस्ट्री और केक और डिफरेंट प्रोसेसिंग जो फूड आइटम मार्केट में अवेलेबल है उनकी जगह वो टेम्प्ट करेंगे और वो खाएंगे क्योंकि उनको भूख लग रही है। सो गैप मत होने दीजिए, घर का राशन चेक रखिए। दिस इज द इम्पोर्टेंट एंड बेसिक थिंग्स which I think everybody can do.
Okay, again, I'm going to reiterate, many questions are coming and they're just not stopping. So every one of you, please, I request you, there's a feedback form and over there you have an option in one of the questions to put in whatever queries you may have had and haven't been answered today. We will get Dr. Nupur and request her to give some time over the weekend and answer those for you.
एक चीज बोलना चाहूंगी मैं, ताकि मेरे दिमाग में आया, बच्चों को क्या चाहिए ना, मोनोटोनी नहीं होना चाहिए उनके फूड में। उनको डिफरेंट शेप्स, डिफरेंट वैरायटी, जो आपने सपोज कुछ भी अगर पराठा दिया है स्टफिंग का तो उसको डिफरेंट तरीके से शेप में काट लिया, उसको प्रेजेंटेशन डिफरेंट कर दिया, तो वो अगर आप प्रेजेंटेशन और एक ही जगह उनको बैठ के मत खाने दीजिए, थोड़ा सा उनका चेंज कर दीजिए। कभी बैक गार्डन, कभी आपका गार्डन में बैठ के खा रहे हैं वो, कभी आपके हॉल में बैठ के खा रहे हैं, कहीं कभी उनके प्ले एरिया में बैठ के खा रहे हैं, तो दे इंजॉय एंड दे ईट with the variety and different atmosphere. That's important for me.
One last thing, Dr. Nupur, is that there is this conversation constantly being that you should have smaller meals through the day. What is the right amount of time gap between even the smaller meals? Because I have seen a tendency and portion size. इन दोनों चीजों को कैसे मैनेज करें, portion size and frequency of eating food?
देखिए, आप अगर सुबह 6 बजे उठते हैं तो आप 7:30-8 के बीच में 8:30 तक आपका ब्रेकफास्ट हो जाना चाहिए। फिर आप करेंगे लंच 1 बजे, तो आपका 10:30-11 बजे एक फ्रूट हो जाना चाहिए गैप के साथ, ठीक है। फिर थोड़ी देर बाद आपका एक बटर मिल्क या कोई सूप हो जाना चाहिए। फिर 1 से 2 के बीच में आपका लंच जो आपका प्रॉपर होना चाहिए, दाल, चावल, रोटी, सब्जी, सलाद आप खा लीजिए। फिर एक 3:30 से 4:30 के बीच में अगेन आप फ्रूट प्लेट खा लीजिए। That's important. Then if you want to drink tea, as I mentioned, black tea and white tea, yeah, black coffee without milk will be really healthy for you. You can drink some 6:30, and if you don't want, take some soup, hot soup. Basically हमारी टेम्पटेशन हमको शाम को कुछ गर्म पीने की होती है, तो जरूरी नहीं है कि आप चाय पिए, आप गर्म सूप भी पिएंगे। जैसे कि मैंने कुल्थी का सूप बताया, वो भी अगर आप उस समय लेते हैं, या आपके फ्रेश वेजिटेबल सूप लेते हैं, ना कि पैकेट सूप, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट पैकेट सूप, तो वो आपके लिए बहुत हेल्दी ऑप्शन होगा। एंड 7:38 अराउंड आपने अपना डिनर कंप्लीट कर दिया है, सो आप 10 से 11 के बीच में सोने की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। तो दिस इज द पैटर्न यू कैन फॉलो एंड यू कैन हैव स्मॉल गैप्स, एंड दिस इज द टाइम गैप यू कैन मेंटेन।
Dr. Nupur, as we replace a lot of our meals with a salad, like if I can have a salad or a soup at night, can I also have just only a bowl of a fruit bowl at night?
It's not a right idea. As I mentioned you, Vishali, कि आपको नींद अच्छी आनी चाहिए। आपके घर में इतनी अच्छी नींद होनी चाहिए कि घर में चोरी भी हो रही हो तो आपकी नींद ना खुले। तो that's called actually health. तो वो नींद के लिए आपको खाना बराबर खाना है और उसका टाइम गैप भी मेंटेन करना है। और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट बात मुझे आपको बता देती हूँ, डिनर के बाद मोस्टली लोग वॉक पे चले जाते हैं, विच इज नॉट हेल्दी। यू प्लीज डू वज्र आसन, जैसे नमाज पढ़ते हैं वो उसको वज्र आसन बोलते हैं। ट्राई टू डू वज्र आसन आफ्टर योर डिनर एंड कीप द टाइम गैप एंड ईट प्रॉपर, जिससे आपको रात में, अगर आपने सूप सलाद ले लिया, ठीक है, रात में सपोज आपकी आंख खुली, सम कॉल आ गया या कुछ भी हुआ, आपको कुछ याद आ गया, तो फिर आप सर्च करोगे कुछ ना कुछ जंक फूड, बिकॉज उस समय आपका डिनर तो ओवर हो चुका है, सब कुछ बाइंड हो चुका है किचन में। देन वो टाइप की सिचुएशन को आपको हटाने के लिए आपको प्रॉपर मील खा लेना चाहिए, चाहे थोड़ा ही खाएं बट खाएं जरूर, जिससे आपको अच्छी साउंड स्लीप आए।
And like you said, sleep is very important for our mental health. Dr. Nupur, we've had a great time and enjoyed thoroughly the interaction as well as your presentation on nutrition. So many more important things are still left to be discussed, and unfortunately we are short on time.
It's an ocean, Rishali, it is an ocean. Jitna zyada aap iski depth mein jaoge, you will never get the depth. You will find always lack of time.
Yeah. And this
This
is
is my 22 years experience. I'm
absolutely,
telling you.
yeah, this is a topic that actually affects everybody, from children to senior citizens to people with disease, healthy people. Everybody wants to know about the right kind of food to eat. But I must thank you for being so patient and taking all the time to create the presentation and give us all this knowledge. Before we wrap, I first would like to invite Mr. Alok Verma ji, Director HR at Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Mr. Alok Verma is the director of HAL, like I said, and brings to the table a rich and diverse experience of over 3 decades in human resources. Mr. Verma endeavors to develop systems that seek to create a learning organization and a performance-driven culture. We welcome Verma ji. Please, if you can come and say a few words. What did you think of this session and any other inputs you'd like to give, sir?
Very, very good afternoon to all of you. Respected Atul DG Scope, Dr. Nupur, Director Biologics, Healthcare and Fit India Ambassador, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports Authority of India, and one of the most renowned clinical nutrition experts. Official from Fam Health, my fellow colleagues from all public sector, their family members, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I must convey my compliments and thanks to Sopti ji for giving this opportunity to me to participate in this excellent webinar. The complex subject told in a very, very simple way. And I adore this way of presentation. The presentation was the slides were very pragmatic, very basics, and it was very convenient for the people to understand the things. I can tell that you have given the secret of your youngness. And you have almost touched all the aspects, ma'am. Only one suggestion I just wanted, that you should also have a slide for Generation X. You talked about the kids, but you didn't talk about their biological clock getting changed all the time. I mean, this they are night vultures now.
It's a melatonin.
When we are sleeping, they are working. When we are working, they are sleeping. It also affects their dietary, and it leads to lots of complications for them. I think since you are the ambassador for the Fit India and from the Ministry of Youth, you should include that also. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle in this horror pandemic era is really a big challenge. This apart, climatic change which is taking place by way of this air pollution, water pollution and all, this is causing another problem for to remain healthy, and it's also affecting our immunity a lot. Today the lifestyle has completely changed, and we are compelled to be the slave of the social media, the electronic gadgets. We don't want, but we are compelled to be online for all our official as well as the personal jobs. So there is hardly any physical labor involved in these things. You have most of the time, people like us, most of the time we are working in the office and we have only table jobs. So that's change in the lifestyle is also irresistible. It's causing lots of health related issues. And rightly brought up by Mr. Sopti, lots of diseases like cancer, diabetes, heart attack, cholesterol is basically lifestyle induced diseases, and which can be avoided by the change in the lifestyle. Any alien body, when you take the medicines and all these things, your body doesn't accept it. They find that it's an alien thing to us, and so the body reacts sharply. To the extent possible, we should avoid taking the medicines. This will be my one advice to the things. And we are in the age of social media. Plethora of informations are available. The challenge with us is that's which information to be taken, which information not to be taken. It's more, there is a need for doing away the misinformation which are available, because all these information are not trusted, not vetted, not validated. So this may lead to नीम हकीम खतरे जान की कहावत में हम पहुंच जाएंगे वहां. So that also I don't know how to, but we necessarily look into the things, and we should try to curb these things. But of course, friends, it's health is wealth, and as we all know, that we have to be healthy, we have to keep ourselves healthy. Many a times I find that if you drastically change your lifestyle and dietary, then it affects your metabolic activities, and it may lead to some indigestion problem also. So that also, as you rightly said, ma'am, that also needs, that's what your body wants, and you listen to your body, listen to your mind. That is how it has to be dealt with. Now, the younger generation, as I said you, that's their lifestyle is very different, and I'm more concerned, more worried about their future, because they are definitely going to have lots of health related issues when they become old, and it is already surfacing. Many people are having the heart attack, heart problems at a very, very young age, and it's mainly because of the lifestyle they have imbibed or they have adopted. So we need to have a balance in the work-life balance. It's very much necessary in our lifestyle. Then my role as a HR professional, it's all the more challenging for me, because I don't have to take care of myself and my family, but I also have to take care of my whole gamut of the employees, because the healthy employees can only give you the healthy output, and it's very necessary. So they look at me, and ma'am, believe me, during this pandemic, it was a torture for all of us, and how we have managed, and the thing, only I know it. 2:30 in the nights, I have been arranging beds for my employees, and somehow or other, it gives me immense satisfaction that I have been able to save few lives because of our proactiveness. So I won't like to give any advice on these things. Only thing that's I would just like you to say that include the slide on the Generation X, because they are the future of the nation, and you are doing a great service to the nation, ma'am. You are sensitizing the people about their diets, their healthy lifestyle and all, and it will go a long way. The impact cannot be realized now or cannot be measured now, but it will have the impact seen in time to come. I'm once again very, very thankful to Team Scope and Team Fam Health for this opportunity, and keep doing. I think you are the expert. Listening the expert gives you an idea. At least you should have such webinar at least once in a week. More and more people should get involved, and more people should get educated on these things, because you are not only telling them about them, they are talking to them about their future and about the nation. So thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Family. Thank you, Sopti sir, and all the best. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Alok Verma ji, thank you so much. You're absolutely right. Children are the future of tomorrow, and it's a brilliant idea. In fact, we were thinking of doing something even in the health of space of mental health, and we will talk to Sopti ji to do another session on that in the future. Atul, Sopti ji, I would request you once again to just end and conclude the session by giving your views on how you thought the session was.
It was wonderful. Already Vermaji has mentioned that excellent. Very good. In fact, in a simple language, Dr. Nupur, conveyed whatsoever was required by the listeners, the participants. In fact, I have also been getting many messages that we want to ask more questions, but unfortunately time is not there. Nevertheless, we will organize similar sessions in the coming future also. Thanks to Rishali, you for conducting the whole program so nicely as always. And thanks to Dr. Nupur. Thanks to Alokji also for sparing your time despite his busy schedule. And I'm sure that participants would have enjoyed the session. And if any questions, as Rishali mentioned, that were not answered due to paucity of time, we will ensure that those are reverted back definitely with the help of Dr. Nupur. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the team at the back end for organizing a smooth event with no errors and technically completely sound. So thank you back end team as well. So TG, Varmaji, and
I'm sorry, Vishali, may I just jump in? A lot of people have said, can we please have the takeaway of this session? So what we will do is send the synopsis. We'll do some shorter videos, and we will keep sharing it with you over the next week or 10 days. With your permission, Dr. Nupur.
Definitely.
Rest assured, बहुत सारे लोगों ने I'm watching, बहुत सारे लोगों ने लिखा है कि please हमें इतने brilliant slides हैं, हमें please दे दीजिए.
Sure.
From family, we'll share bits of it and the relevant areas.
Anything for our nation. And thank you, Scope and Fame Health. I'm really grateful for this such a esteemed platform and entire family.
Scope is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and please stay healthy and please stay safe and masked.
All healthy life.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
And enjoy the weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you once again. Thanks to you.
Thank you.